our Tlingit way, all people's way. We thank you all for hearing us when we speak. We thank you all for hearing our languages, our songs. It is gaining strength. And this time, your kindness is our medicine and our friends. We are all like one culture, all of us today. Thank you, everybody. And I'll have Serena come up and introduce the next part of our agenda.
Shonithan, that was so beautiful and powerful. I love hearing everybody's language. It's such a great thing to hear, especially on this day. So the next person I'm going to introduce, this woman, I always see her. She's always helping so many people. I see her on Facebook creating raffles for people. I see her extending her hand and reaching out to help anybody and everybody that she can. And I'm just so grateful that she's put this together today. So if everybody could give a nice warm welcome to Jacqueline Shorty.
Gunas Jish. My name is Jacqueline Shorty. My traditional name is Kakagoose Tea. That was gifted to me from Carrie Jackson, my auntie Carrie Jackson from the Coquitlam clan in Teslin. My home is here in Kwanlin-Dun. This is our traditional territory that is shared with the Ta'an First Nation. And I'd like to thank you for coming. Today marks the 7th day since the decision was made to walk from Whitehorse to Kamloops. And it just has been happening so fast. And I want to thank, there are some people that I'd like to thank, and I want to give thanks to those people that always step up when we have ideas. And thank you, Serena, for acknowledging the helping hands. It's so important to be able to help our neighbors and to help one another and to love. And I can say and share that I get that from my mother, Emma Joanne Shorty Lasai of the Coquitlam clan. My teachings that have come to me have come through the Coquitlam clan, and I'd like to acknowledge my elder, Adeline Weber. Thank you. And I wanted to, I'll share a little bit about where this vision came from. And as I mentioned, it happened really quickly. Many of you know that we recently did the 215 recognition and sacred fire down at the Kwanlin-Dun Cultural Center. We had a pair of shoes that were placed at the Roman Catholic Church here locally. And when I went there on Sunday morning on the 30th, there was 5 pairs of shoes. When I placed mine, they were the 6th ones. And by the end of the day, the community of Whitehorse came forward from all nations and all walks of our community, and by the end of the day we had 460 pairs of shoes. And it was within a very short amount of time that we, the next day, made the decision to move the shoes down to the Kwanlin-Dun Cultural Center. That happened from talking with my friend Janet Van Bibber. It was really important for us as the events were unfolding with the discovery of the 215 young children in Kamloops. We saw and felt the pain within ourselves. We felt the grief. We were acknowledged and validated that the pain that our parents had carried and so gracefully and kindly had tried to protect us from as children was real. There was no hiding from it any longer. And such stark truth that comes to us, it was really important to acknowledge the potential for hurt and for anger, and we needed to create a space in order for those things to be worked through in a good way, with kindness and with love. It came as a natural progression when Jamie Henu from Telegraph Creek, who is a member of Northern Nations Alliance, who I represent. We are a volunteer group that has responded to crisis within the North, with Telegraph Creek, also with Australia, are some of the projects, and of course with the shoes. And this event that has unfolded has touched all of us so deeply. And it was really important for us to bring an element of healing amongst ourselves in the community. So when Jamie came to us with his vision to walk from Telegraph Creek to Kamloops and had asked us for our support at Northern Nations Alliance, we said, absolutely, we will support that vision. But the only thing we ask is that you include the North, meaning that we need to start here in Whitehorse, acknowledging that we are on the territory and on the property or of the old area of the Yukon Hall, and across over on the other side is the Coderre residence, acknowledging the day school that was here in Whitehorse and the residential school that was in Dawson City, as well as Chutla in Carcross and Lower Post. So we have our own legacies of pain, but the thing is through this walk, we also have the opportunity to become empowered in our own healing. And that's the intention of this walk, is to rebuild our community that has fallen to the grief and the sorrow, and to build it up with kindness and love. And with each step that we take, we pray that our words come from Creator and from Source, and are able to sing like a lullaby to those children that are lost into the land, so that they come awake and they know that they are acknowledged as well. And also for our parents, for my mother, Emma, Joanne, Shorty, Lasai. That's why I'm doing this. It's a personal commitment. And I'm so grateful for these two people that are going to walk alongside. We're going to walk alongside Jamie, who had that vision. We know that there will be obstacles, but we're not going to stop. No matter what, we're going to continue to go. And we're not walkers. We're not young. We're grandparents. Each of us are grandparents. But it's so important to make sure that this is something that is never forgotten. And it's so important to make sure that while every one of us in the community hurts, we make a concentrated decision as a community to never, ever allow this to happen again in our history of Canada. Ganishtish.
Nra Shonithan for those beautiful words, Jacqueline. So the next person who we're going to invite to speak is Dejanarajal Tlo Danuk Anata Dejanarajal Udze Nasat. So this woman here, she always looks after the people, and her heart is really strong. So the next person who I'd like to invite to come speak for us today is Chief Doris Bill.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone. Dunjay, and thank you so much for inviting me here today to speak. I first want to acknowledge the land that we're standing on here. This property is Kwanlin Dunn's property. This is the site of the old Yukon Hall, as Jackie had pointed out. You have some of the former students here today who went to Yukon Hall. Some of my brothers and sisters went to Yukon Hall. And like she said, across there was Coder, and there's some former students here today. I want to acknowledge a few elders here, Diane Smith, Adeline Weber, and Judy Gingell. I want to thank these ladies for guiding me through this process, because it's very difficult to be able to know what to do. A lot of times I stand on their shoulders, and these ladies are absolutely amazing. And I just want to say thank you, and I hold my hands up to you, and goodness jeez for being there for me all the time. I want to thank Jackie for those words. They're very beautiful. And it's so true that we need to, right now is a real sorrowful time. We're grieving across this entire country. And I notice now into the States too as well, they're looking at former residential school sites, so this is likely to spread beyond our borders. It's so important now than ever that we come together as a community, and not just the First Nation community, because I think that we need to come together and help each other understand what we are going through. It's so traumatic, and it's so difficult to understand how more than 1,000 children that have been recovered so far have been put away in this manner. For us, that it's so disrespectful to our people. At the same time, we look for ways such as this memorial walk, in which to memorialize those children, to tell their parents and their people that we didn't forget about them. You know, there's so many of our people that didn't come home. And with each step that you take along this road, it's going to be a difficult journey, but it will also send a message to the people along the way that we can't forget these children. We have to honor these children. We have to honor the children that didn't make it home. In the last little while, I've really been thinking about this a lot, and I'm so proud of this group, because we need to find ways in how to honor these children in a really good way. And in doing so, it's helping us to heal as well. It's helping us to release some of that grief that we're holding on to. And I really truly believe that our communities are going down a road in which we will begin to heal. We will come out of this. We will begin to heal, and we'll begin to take control of our own future. We will recover our children, and we will drive our own future from now on. So I want to acknowledge everybody that has come together to lift us up, to help us memorialize these children. We have a long road ahead of us. It's going to be difficult, but we will get through this, and we will get through this together. And that's how we're going to get through it, as a community. And thank you for being there. Thank you for being there for my community, for all of us. Thank you. Gunas Cheese Masicho, and good luck, Jackie and friends. I wish you well along the way. Our prayers go with you. And, as you stop in each community, please give our thanks. Sorry, I have something in my throat. Goodness cheese, thank you, Masicho.
Galshish, Shtuga Harati Yukat Angi. Thank you. We're very grateful for your words. We're grateful for everyone's words on this day. Next speaker we have is Grand Chief Peter Johnston, and we'd like to hear from him.
Chish Lakatiwan, Chish Khoni, Taratini Khat Duasau Slingat Gainach, Deslin Kwan I Khat, Achish Natlahash Dusau. Just like to, on behalf of the Council Yukon First Nations, say it's an honor for me to be here to say a few words. Also, just to be a supporter of this process, this ceremony that we're going through today. I'd just like to honor the people that have come up, not only to organize this, but the insight they have, not only to create awareness, but also, like I said, to support our people during this difficult time. Once again, unfortunately, we're, the horrific history that we've known for at least a couple hundred years has now been brought forward, not only to create attention across this country, but also to, the way I look at it, is an opportunity for us now, once again, to find that accountability, not only through the processes that we've been through, but through government, through the churches, through the RCMP. This is our obligation, once again, as First Nation people, to ensure that we bring this to light, to hopefully put a closure to this, to where the accountability, to the retribution, to everything that we seek, not only for our previous ancestors, the ones that have gone before us, the ones that have been impacted, but the people that are still with us that have, been dearly impacted by this horrific part of our history. And as a father and as a grandfather now, we got to honor our people even more now, and I look forward to participating tomorrow in the walk, not only to help create awareness, but to do my part as well, because it's going to take all of us, as has been mentioned, to not only make a better place for our people going forward, and you could still see the impacts of residential school in our downtown core, but we as an organization together today for Our Children Tomorrow is the document that we stand upon. And today we're even stronger in that sense that we have now self-government, we have the ability for jurisdiction, we have the ability to have autonomy, we have the ability now to create change, and I'm just thankful. Today we've done an announcement just that we're creating a First Nation women's shelter here in the city of Whitehorse. And for me, it's unfortunate that we need these institutions still, but it's the only way we're going to be able to not only support our people in a place that's cultural sensitive, that is a part of who we are, that'll give our children a sense of hope for tomorrow, but also to help support our women that have gone through, particularly in this tough time with COVID, and just the breakdown of our family dynamics because of the effects of residential school. We forget about our language as well, and it's really a sad shame that the government has not. Sure, we've created a language commission, but really at the end of the day we need the dollars to come home to our communities, to our respective nations, to do the hard work that we need to do. And it's so great to hear there are young people that are speaking before us here that are using the language with pride and confidence, and that are leading the way now of what our ancestors, and like I refer back to together today for Our Children Tomorrow, that was the vision. It was about taking our rightful place back in society, to be leaders once again, but most important, to give that pride back to our people that we once had. So I'm looking forward tomorrow. I'm warming up my running shoes, and looking forward to hanging out with Larry, our MP, and to doing that 5K with pride and determination and with a sense of hope as well. Chish, thank you.
Grand Chief Peter, for those words, and what a powerful reminder that what happened in the past to our ancestors and our people, we can't change that, but we do have a say in what happens for our future. So thank you for that. The next person who I'd like to come up to invite to come up to speak, Dejana Rajal DG Lanu Yinji, Dejana Rajal Atlo Aye in da Sadla, Nadi This woman, I've known her my whole life. She always works with me, and I depend on her. So I'm just so honored to welcome Kalani Adamak to the podium. Thank you.
Shonithan, Serena.
Beautiful words, of course, from Chladus and Matatanama, Shonithan Ganachchish. Want to acknowledge, of course, the territory we're on, as we heard from Chief Bill, Ta'an, Kwanlin Dun, and of course, as we're all reminded, what was once Yukon Hall. It's hard. These are heavy times. And so it's finding that moment to acknowledge what's hard and to find the strength, as we've been shown for generations. Those who attended residential school, I want to acknowledge, of course, the survivors who are here, those who have passed on, and of course those who, the next generation coming forward to say, what can we do now? We look across the country, and of course our hearts and minds are with all those nations where we've seen young souls who have decided to come forward. And we know that there's more heavy times to come. So these are the moments we come together to find the strength, to acknowledge what is hard and heavy, and to feel that. Because as we're also reminded, for so long we were told not to feel and not to talk about it. So here we are, standing beside and behind those who are going to embark on a truly monumental journey. But as you describe, it's about those young people, it's to bring honor, and it's about healing. Someone once told me that tears aren't for you, they're for somebody else who needs them. And so it's important in these moments that feel hard and heavy to allow yourself to feel what it is you need to feel. And to know that for so long, children weren't able to feel, whether it was to laugh or to play, or to be upset and to hurt. And so this walk brings so much more. And I'm sure there will be, as you mentioned, challenges, maybe a few blisters, but also there's going to be so many young people, knowledge keepers, elders, survivors that are going to join you, or that are going to be there with you. And right across the country, people are coming together to say, what does the future look like for kids? What do we need to do now? How do we honor and never forget? We can never forget. And as you've heard, never let it happen again. But these are the moments we need to come together to do something. And that something is going to be different for every single person. And that's what we're seeing happen right across this country. As we move into next week, Lower Post, I want to acknowledge leaders who have spoken and Deputy Chief who's here. It is going to be hard and heavy. And so through this walk, I hope it brings you healing, knowing that there's people that are bringing this honor, that are walking every single day. And as we've also heard, doing ceremony can also mean doing a sweat. You can be doing that on your own, whether it's walking, whether it's doing a sweat. These are the times to take care of yourself, as we've heard Chief Bill say. And these are the times to come together as community, as you've heard from the Grand Chief. And so we stand with you and beside you as you embark on this incredible moment, because this is a moment of reckoning. And before we get to reconciliation, we have to get to truth. That is what this is about. And so for all of you who may be listening and watching, it's being gentle, it's being kind, it's giving yourself the space to feel and knowing that these are hard and heavy times, but we've always been able to get through. Because we're grounded in who we are, because we have languages that give us strength, and we have the land that heals us. And so with that, wishing you all the best. Danka Untitled Chapter, take good care, Igaya Juan. And we're with you, of course, in support as you embark on this really, really important moment. Thank you.
Ganalchish Kluani. Nice mask here. Ya'an Kadakhsini. Ya'an Kadakhsini. That was one of my favorite names I heard of someone being called on the coast, and the name means there's strength in this land. And, you know, with everything that's been happening, it brings kind of new meaning to that word. There is strength in the land. There is strength in everything that we do. When we speak our language, when we sing a song, when we are doing artwork, when we're doing anything that is hakustiyi, which means our way of life or our way of doing things, we're always in ceremony. So I was inspired by that speech there talking about our ceremony, because we should be in ceremony almost all the time. We should be living like the Hashuka, the ones who were before us. And I just wanted to say to everybody who's watching at home and everybody who's here, you know, sometimes ceremony doesn't have to be a big extravagant thing. You don't have to have an audience. Ceremony could be just you sitting down on the land, singing and talking. Where I live, my wife and I, we live in Carcross, and we live just near where the Chutlas school's ground was. And when we first lived in that house that we live in, we could hear children running around and playing and laughing. And at the time I was a teacher in elementary school, so I thought it was children who were trying to bug me. And so I would wait until I could hear the knocking or the running around until I could like run out and surprise them. And there was nobody there. And that happened several times. It was, it started becoming hard to sleep. Things have happened. And so I had to research and talk to a lot of elders, a lot of people, and we did lots of ceremony and lots of things. But no matter how much ceremony we did, the biggest thing that made the land happy was singing. So I encourage everybody, each and every single one of you, all of you watching at home, you don't wait for a big ceremony, don't wait for invitations, don't wait for anything. Just go and be on the land and go sing and talk, because the land is always listening. Ya'an Kadakhsini. There is strength in the land. And I think the land needs us as much as we need the land. So I encourage everybody to please go out there and ceremony as much as possible. This next speaker that we have coming up is Deputy Chief Harlan Schilling of the Diludena Council from Lower Post. And let's give him a round of applause. He has a great speech prepared. I know this.
Thank you, everybody. For me, this hits a little bit close to home. This is Yukon Hall was where my mother was sent, and I know this is very much a spot where I had to ask her if I'm able to speak about what I'm about to say. So I'm honored and glad to be here today and share a few words. The Warriors Walk for Healing Nations is an important event, and thank you all for showing your support. Us showing our solidarity for our brothers and sisters into Kamloops, Secwepemc, and the Cowessess First Nations. Such terrible news with the first findings of the 215 remains in Kamloops in May, and then this week with 751 unmarked graves. We grieve with our brothers and sisters across Canada. In my community of Lower Posts, a terrible weight has been added to our already heavy hearts as we plan for the final demolition of the residential school located right in the heart of my community. This building has stood as a scary reminder of our country's past, with the horrible things that have happened inside those walls. Some of you may not know that people in our community did not have to go to our residential school in Lower Post. What was done to them is they were taken from their homes, taken from their families, and just like my mother, she was sent here to Yukon Hall. My mother was one of those children that came here, but she stopped a vicious cycle. And just like my mother, there are many survivors out there, mothers and fathers, that just like my mom did, she broke that cycle. She was able to hide the atrocities that happened to her and her friends and her family. These recent findings are not surprising that are happening across our country in residential schools. Our elders, our people, our history passers have told us about this. I was told about it when I was a young child. So this is a moment for us standing here right now together as one to show a country and show a nation that it was truth. What was stolen from us is irreplaceable. The lives of the children will never be allowed to grow up, never grow old, whose stories were never told, and whose voices were never heard. While we cannot bring back those who have been lost, we can and we will honor them and bring their spirits home. Together we have become and must remain the voice of those missing children, our survivors and our ancestors who endured so much. Your efforts today, your sacrifice of those who will join us in walking this journey to Kamloops is a meaningful and solemn way to demonstrate that we bear this grief together. This is how we go forward. This is how we heal. Together, with our truth, with love and understanding for each and every other, with relentless determination to make sure that every child does and always will matter. Again, from my community, it's a truly honor coming here today. Jamie, Jacqueline, this whole team have encouraged thousands, and it's just the start. To see everybody here today as a young leader from Lower Post, thank you.
Yakei Yukatanki. Good words, very thank you. Hashilko has Yukatangi. Hatukiayati. Hayukatangi Kenalsin. Chutlechawe Kukagasti. The language of our grandparents is inside of us. It is inside of us. The language is gaining strength. And so that too it may will live forever. Hashaguni, Hashagenya Katuwuts. Hashaguni Hastu Tlatsini Hatu Ye Angau. Was Kuta Kawasus Hakusti Yikut. Ya Yidat Yatlatki Katwutu Adi. Auhan Hatuwasagu Wutu Shagugu. Ade Yatlatki. Kahas kusti yin hashaguni has. Hatuwasagu uhan suye kutusti. Agra awegach tusaku ade yakeyi. Yigatlat ka aka achia deheni. Agra awake edengach tuslatin hatlatki. Kahakusti. Haitch yahasna ari hayastu yujiyas. Hakasani kahatuwu. Kahayakawahekul latsini. Our ancestors, we call upon you to instill in us the strength of you, our ancestors, Hashukat, the ones before us. It is as if we are lost without our culture. We who now walk this land seek to learn the ways of our ancestors, to live in harmony and balance on this great land. We seek to live as one with the animals and the land, so that too we may know the beauty and bounty of our lands. So that too we may protect our land and culture for those yet to come. We are thankful, our body, our mind, and our spirit. I just wanted to say gil chish to Gunta Business for doing this event, online event. They have amazing swag and hats. I definitely recommend you hit them up. I wanted to give a good chish, a big thank you to Ian Angus for being the firekeeper, the protector. Also to that elder gentleman who was sitting with him earlier, I didn't catch his name, but he asked that we start with a song, so that's why I sang that song earlier, because You know, any good leader or any good wannabe leader or future Jedi, you listen to your elders, and you know that will instill you the strength. So he asked me to do that song, so I wanted to say Chish for that. We also wanted to acknowledge that we have in attendance the MLA Larry Bagnell and our Premier Sandy Silver. Thank you guys for showing up. It's always nice to see you guys coming to the events and having your support. We are now going to do a closing, but I'm going to let my co-host Serena do some closing remarks and introduce what's going to be happening next. And we just want to say once again, thank you all for coming. We love you all, and it's always nice to be coming together to showing our strength and our gratitude and just to be us. That is what we bring, is we bring us, and witnessing and everything is a big part of our culture. So we just want to say thank you each and every single one of you.
Thank you. And now I'd just like to welcome back Jackie and Harlan to say a few more words. Thank you.
Thank you, Serena, and thank you for being here. One thing that I wanted to do, and you have to forgive me, I know that it's been a busy 7 days, so sometimes, you know, my mind is so mixed up in getting things ready for tomorrow that I forget, and I apologize for that. So please forgive me for that. I wanted to make sure that I acknowledge the Council of Yukon First Nations for their support. This is the second event that we've done with residential school, and every time that I've gone forward to them and asked them to support us, they've not hesitated a moment to be able to come and say, yes, we will support you. So they provided us with a budget to do this event here today and also for tomorrow. And they were also the ones that were able to offer and provide us with Gunta business. So Peter, I just want to say thank you, and also to Shadell Chambers, who is always there for us. And I wanted to also acknowledge that I believe that Premier Silver is in Dawson City, but I think that the person that is here representing him today is Jeannie McLean, who is just over here to the right. And I want to thank you, Jeannie, for joining us. And with that, I'll just let Harlan make an announcement, a quick announcement.
So with the walk starting tomorrow, I have been graciously asked to join for the first walk beside Jamie for the first 20 kilometers. So I will be doing that. And then, as many may have known and heard, that we have been planning and trying to demolish what's left of the Lower Post Residential School. So that school opened up June 30th, 1975. It will be coming down this June 30th. So with the world we live in during a global pandemic, our team has been working endlessly day and night to make this a COVID-safe, COVID-friendly event. And it hurts my heart to have to say a COVID-friendly event, but you know, we are not turning away members that went to that school, survivors. It is their right to have that closure, and we will be reaching out to the Northern First Nations to see how our community can help them with closure. So with that being said, I'm honored to say that our community, Jamie, I may not be able to make this entire walk with you, my friend, but you will have open arms and family to greet you when you get there. Thank you.
Shoni Sun. Dejan Kasik e Dejan ke deki ayakaka dutselek e uyedi. This is my first time emceeing, so that's why I was a little bit shy. So I just want to say Nga Shoni Sun to everybody who let me learn and do this experience, and especially to Gary for helping me and when I said, no, I'm too shy, can you please go do it? And he didn't even question it. So, to everybody for bearing with me. The next people that I would like to introduce or ask to come up are close to my heart. I've been dancing with this group, both groups, mixed group here today, but I've been dancing with them since I was very young, and like we say, Shik'a Ralni, Shik'a Rajan, Shik'a Danke Kwishe. We're all still singing, we're all still dancing, we're all still speaking our language, and that's such a beautiful and powerful thing to say that I get to introduce the next dance group to come up and sing and dance for us in our traditional language or drum and honor these people who are going to walk for these children and also honor the children who didn't get to make it home. So I just wanted to say, Daga Shonithan, everybody, thank you. I think highly of you all. And my heart is happy, so thank you. And with that, I'd like to ask the drummers to please come to the podium. Thank you.
Ahia,
Ganashish. That concludes our program. We have on the agenda closing prayer, but we don't have a name beside that, so I was wondering if someone out there wants to volunteer someone, or if we have an elder, I think that'd be appropriate. Who is supposed to be doing closing prayer? Judy, we have a request for you to say a closing prayer. Ganashish.
Well, I'll do my best for the prayer. I brought my friend with me. We've been friends and since we ate mud pies when we were really small at the mission school.
And it wasn't a day school.
Well, it was not a day school. The mission school is over at where the Elks Hall and all the apartments, and this is where we went back in 1951, 52.
52.
Okay.
I always have to correct her.
Yeah, she always reminds me what my age is. But anyways, we'll do our best. Oh, Creator, we thank you for this day that you have brought before us. Creator, we ask that you put your hands upon those that are reaching out and that need your guidance and also need your comfort at this time. Creator, our people of this country is in mourning, is grieving, and are in sorrow and right across this country, Creator. We ask you to put your hands upon them and bless them and give them some comfort. Creator, I ask you to put your hands and watch over the people that are going to walk in memory of our small children that never went home. The parents were never ever contacted and be told of what have become of these young children. And some of our people that have never made it home and no comfort was ever given to them, Creator. I ask you to put your hands upon each and every one of us. I ask you to be with those that are going to travel, that they have the strength. And we also heal as they take their journey. Every step they take will help us as we turn this page in our life. Creator, that you be with us and comfort us. Cheese. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for coming. We all know in languages, indigenous languages, we don't say goodbye. So see you all later. Suye yikwasitin. See you all later.
I like your hat. I'll get your hat. What a good excuse to get a new one, eh?